So, the Airmatic system on an E55 is kind of trashy, especially when it's pretty old. So, decisions were made, and we're gonna go with BC Racing instead. So first things first, we're gonna be using the factory jack point. We're gonna throw some lights under there. And obviously we're gonna wanna put some safety stands on there, which so lifting from the factory jack point, which is right around here. We're supposed to take out 7 bolts, holding in the fender liner. Just like so. Height sensor bracket, and be really careful with these clips. They tend to break really easily. Just kind of push in on the clips and wiggle it around. Perfectly. Go ahead and tuck these electrical cables and we'll hold them in with zip ties. As so.
Did you get that?
Mm-hmm.
Hell yeah.
Follow this line, and this is the wire we're going to have to remove. Look at the yellow one. Now remove the Airmatic line from the bracket. Push that.
Just like that.
And we can plug the bracket right back in. Now all we're really going to need to do is remove the Airmatic line, which is, it'll be this yellow one. Remove the Airmatic line from every other bracket. You have to mess with some of the clips along the way. This little clip, all you have to really do is pull the line right out of the clip. Keep a thumb up against the edge of the clip and pull while pushing with your thumb. Comes right out. Easy. Alright, using two 21mm wrenches, you're gonna want to break the lower control arm loose. Separate the strut from the lower control arm. Using a 10mm wrench, carefully remove the air line from your Airmatic system. I'm going to be real careful with this process and kind of turn your wrench as so. The second air line will go to the passenger side. You shouldn't have to worry about that. Just tuck it in there. Unplug the sensor, whatever that thing is. Let's tuck it away. Now using a 13mm, you're going to want to unscrew the strut from the chassis. Get a T45 for these bottom ones and a 13. To remove the top, there's going to be 3 up there, and that's going to go ahead and help us drop the strut. So Mercedes, in all their wisdom, decided to make this really hard to access. I'm not really in the mood for removing this. So we're going to use some vice grips and a T40 to break these last 2. What's up? Next steps, you essentially just kind of want to put some muscle and yank it right out, like so.
Suspension's nice and loose now.
So next step, gonna take a crowbar and pry this strut out. It's gonna be just rather frustrating without one. So this is what the coilover is going to look like once you insert it in. It's pretty self-explanatory. You're going to insert and point up, and then having a buddy really helps because they'll go ahead and screw it in, and someone will need to hold it at the very bottom. If you're doing it by yourself, I would try mounting it onto the control arm first, but it's going to be a lot easier to just have a friend or anyone else screw in these top 3 bolts. Insert the bolt back into the lower control arm. Now this part's a little tricky because you're going to have to line up both ends with the lower control arm. So it could take a few moments. Now screw in the bolt for lower control arm to the strut and tighten the bolt. So the reason I'm doing this is we can use the wrench at the bottom, we use the T45 over at the top. And tighten everything down. Next part is pretty self-explanatory. Go in reverse from the initial video where we took off the fender liner bolts, reattach the fender liner bolts. Now fender liner, not really optional. You really want to protect all those electronics right under there.